Well, you might have this in New York then. Do either of you have booby traps in your house?
No.
If I tell you that, no, I
Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass. Today I'm talking to Douglas Smith and Lowell Dean about Die Alone, which is coming to theaters, digital, and on demand on October 18th, 2024. I'm going to talk to them right now. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spread a lot. Thank you. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Douglas Smith and Lowell Dean talking about Die Alone, which is coming to theaters, digital, and on demand on October 18th, 2024. It is a new indie horror apocalypse film that has a little different twist on the zombie apocalypse formula, a fantastic cast, including Douglas Smith, who I've wanted to talk to since I saw Exposure. He was fantastic in that film, and he's fantastic in this one, and it has some twists and surprises along the way. So I'm very excited to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining me.
thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
Of course. No, I'm very excited about this one. So, unfortunately, the first question is for Lowell. I'll talk to you in a second, Douglas. The first question's for Lowell. You wrote this. What was the inspiration for this? Was it a recent pandemic? Was it something else that happened in your life that caused you to like hate this world? What happened that made you want to write this?
Yeah, I just got sick of the world and I romanticized the idea of like going in the middle of nowhere, away from people and technology. But then obviously we all did that recently and it wasn't so great. So this is written long before COVID. It was a romanticized version of what an isolation pandemic would be like. And this film is, as much as it's that, it really is more a love letter to where I'm from, Saskatchewan, making zombie films as well. And it really all stems from a question, which is how far would you go or how far would you go for the people you love? So that was the big thematic question. And that's what kind of spurred on this story of survival and hardship.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that definitely asked this question and answers it as well. And I assume you were always set to direct this film. Was that always the case? Did you write this with the idea that you would then direct it?
I mean, I wrote it as my first film, and if it would have gotten made 10 years ago, who knows? Because I had never directed a film. I didn't even have an IMDb credit, which when I optioned this film to the first producer, that was the first thing they said is like, don't anticipate that you'll get to make this. So luckily that version wasn't that good, and I kept improving the script, and then I got a few films under my belt. So by the time we actually made it, I don't think it was a question if I wouldn't have I would have killed someone if they tried to make it instead of me.
That's awesome. No, I love that. I love the fact that like it waited long enough that you would be ready to actually make it rather than just get like rushed out and someone else's vision would have been, this film. I love that. Douglas, how did you get involved in this movie? How did this come across your desk?
It was emailed to me through the casting director and the agent and all that, but I was also working at the time with Jonathan Cherry on another movie, and Jonathan Cherry is in our movie, and he's worked with Lowell a number of times, and he's in Dark Match, and he's a wolf cop too, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, yeah, he's Wolfcop's sidekick,
Yeah,
basically.
and Cherry was like, man, my buddy Lowell has got this script. You'd be perfect for it, and I actually think he emailed me the pitch deck, and
He
my
probably
agent,
did.
I think he just right there emailed it to me, and I started looking at the pitch deck, and it was interesting, and then I went home. At the time, the title was Vestige or Vestige, right? And that's how I
They
knew
were
it.
they were just throwing titles at the wall. The first thing that happens when people are like questioning if they should make a movie, they're like, "Well, we got to change the title." So I think there was like 20 titles that came up for this, but it really was always just Die Alone to me.
That's
That
perfect.
was, and I learned of that later. And so I was like, oh, they changed the title from Vestige to Die Alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody who'd been a part of it much longer was like, no, no, like it was always Die Alone. You got the rename in that moment. And then like I think my pay stub when I got paid, it said like Vestige and in parentheses Die Alone or something. Yeah. Like
Really?
yeah,
Like free
yeah,
coke.
yeah. That's how like
Crazy.
the payroll like said that still.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I read it in the fall of 2022, and we were hoping to make it in the fall of 2022, and then it pushed because of money fell out or something like that, and then it came back to life like a reclaimed creature in the spring of 2023, and we made it just before the actor strike. The writer strike was already happening, but right before the actor strike commenced, we finished it like the day before
Oh
the
wow.
strike.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. So I love that it kind of revived, yeah, like you said, just like one of those creatures, and then finished right in time. That's amazing.
it was
Um,
stressful.
I can imagine. Douglas, when did you find out that you were going to be working with Carrie-Anne Moss and Frank Grillo? What was it like working with them?
Well, so Carrie-Anne Moss and I have worked together two other times, but like she did like small roles and things I had done. And so it was really interesting to me at the idea of getting to do a whole movie with her and really build a relationship, a big arc. And it was nerve-wracking too, because I had good experiences with her. And I think she spoke highly of me when they were trying to decide if they wanted to offer it to me. So I really didn't want to let her down. I was like, God, I hope she likes me on the fourth day because we only ever worked together 3 days. But yeah, that was a really working with Grillo was really nice. It was kind of similar to when I worked with Carrie-Anne previously. It was 3 days in, 3 days out, and he was great. He's like so committed, showed up so prepared with a really strong point of view on the character that was really helpful for everybody. And I think he's great in the film. But Carrie-Anne, it was like a longer relationship and more nuanced. And those scenes were some of the scenes I felt the most like scared I was doing it right or wrong, like trying to figure out the tone. Like, is it too goofy? Is it too romantic? Is it too this? And then watching the movie, those are some of my favorite movie scenes to watch in the movie. So when we're dancing in the house and she's kind of drinking and we're playing cards and Claire Loon is playing and I accidentally say something about her face and this like stern, tough survivalist woman gets like vulnerable and her feelings are hurt. I don't know. I love the scene where they're walking after we ride on the bike awkwardly, and then we like stop and we just have this long walk, and it's all covered in one shot. And I remember on the day being like, "So do you think you got it?" And I think, Lowell, you said like, "I think so." It was kind of hard for me to see on the monitor, but I think we got it.
I heard it. I knew it was
Yeah, that's what
good.
you said. You said you heard it.
And if
Yeah.
it was in focus because it was like we had to be so far away because they were doing this long walk down the road that my monitor kept crapping out. So I'd see a whole section and then it'd flicker out and I'd miss like two lines. So I mean, we did a playback and I double checked, but there was actually two really good takes. But the take that's in the film is obviously the take.
I really like that. So Carrie-Anne just brought so much to it, and I'm just like really indebted to her for I don't know, for just all that she brought to it, because I think it's the heart of the film.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I love that she has such a big role. Like you said, like this is your first chance to have like a real like relationship with her in a movie, because normally you'll get like a star and they'll have, like essentially what Frank Grillo did. Like they come in for a little bit, they have a fun scene, you like the character. But Carrie-Anne was like the meat of this movie. It was awesome to see her on screen for so long and see her character develop and your relationship develop, like you said, in very different ways at times, right? Like sometimes motherly, sometimes, friends, sometimes a little
Yeah, yeah,
more.
it's
It was,
different.
yeah.
Yeah, it gets real different at the end.
But you'll have to watch to find out. You'll have to
Exactly.
see
I'm
what
not
happens.
saying anymore.
Exactly. So I know we have very limited time. I'm going to switch to a lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable. First question, important. Given weather uncertainty and potentially a pending zombie apocalypse, do either of you have generators?
No, I'm dead so fast.
No, I live in New York now. I'm dead.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're gone. Your entire
Yeah.
apartment is just going to be overrun.
Yeah.
Well, you might have this in New York then. Do either of you have booby traps in your house?
No.
If I tell you that, no,
That is a good point. And where exactly are they? Which doors are they on? So just so that people can know. And the last question, I think you both kind of answered this. How long do you think that you could survive in a zombie apocalypse?
I mean, I know I'd die fast.
Day one.
Yeah, I don't have great eyesight. I get hangry, you know what I mean? Like if I don't get a snack soon enough, I'd be like making irrational decisions. So yeah, day one.
They won for both of you. All right. Well, so
Yeah.
you would both probably die alone, but you can you can see them experience the zombie apocalypse in Die Alone, coming to theaters digital and on demand October 18th, 2024. This is Douglas Smith and Lowell Dean. Thanks so much for your time.
Except
That was Douglas Smith and Lowell Dean talking about Die Alone, which is coming to theaters, digital, and on demand October 18th, 2024. It is an indie zombie apocalypse film that changes some of the rules with a fantastic cast and a bunch of surprises. I really liked it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a well-done indie film, so I definitely think you should check it out. And if you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.